Hey folks, welcome to another Fitness Friday Positives with Rachelle. Folks, and I know you're probably looking at my little Santa, my LSU Santa hat and wondering, okay, it is June, what is she doing with the Santa hat on? Folks, I'm feeling, like I told you, during the Value of Competitive Analysis series, I'm just feeling so generous in terms of giving and in terms of just sharing insights, leadership development coaching, consulting, all of that in this particular series. So I told you, I'm being generous. It may as well be December. It may as well be the holidays. So trust me, you just soak in all of this generosity, this intellectual generosity that I'm sharing in this particular episode, because this will be the last time. But folks, last time, I'm always sharing my PF adventures, and this time I actually got a couple of repeats. You've heard me talk about the Michigan Avenue Planet Fitness or PF location in Dearborn. So of course, Rachelle's PF Adventures took me back to the Dearborn Club. For those who don't know, I actually used to live in Dearborn, Michigan when I first moved to Michigan, and so certainly have ties there still, and certainly I'm there anywhere between 2 and 4 times a month. So glad that club is there, and I had the option, particularly when I had to volunteer on May 31st at 9:30. I'm actually a volunteer with the Metro Detroit Convention and Tourism Bureau, so I had to volunteer starting at 9:30 at the Henry Ford there in Dearborn for a convention that was being held. Was back there on June 8th. Had an appointment in Dearborn at 9 o'clock. So that particular club, I was there a couple times, and what can I say? You've heard me talk about that club before. It was literally wash, rinse, repeat. Wash, rinse, repeat. And so you've heard me talk about, Matt Sierra, Purple Pride. And so actually when I went on the 31st, same thing. Matt's cleaning his heart out. Then he goes back to the front desk, and then Sierra goes, and then now she's cleaning. And I remember that particular day, Matt was attacking. Actually, both times, I was on the treadmill, last cardio machine, because I cross trained, so I'm using different cardio machines as well. So I'm doing a walk, cool down, and on that particular day, I'm sitting there thinking to myself, like, wow, something smells good in here. And then I turn around and bam, there's Matt mopping, attacking the cardio area. And then I literally gotta get off that machine, go into the weight machine, go to my locker to get my workout gloves, and then come back out, and then bam, he's back at the front desk, and Sierra's out cleaning the dumbbell racks, talking to different members and stuff around her. Like I told you, secret weapon Sierra, super highly attentive, talking with members, building relationships, maintaining relationships with those folks. So wash, rinse, repeat. When I was there on the 8th, wash, rinse, repeat. And certainly something that she does, as I mentioned, just that attentiveness is certainly, she knows who all the regulars are. She knows who, all those different people that come to that club, and I'm certainly just a guest in that club. But always highly attentive. When I'm walking out of that door, bye ma'am, have a nice day. And, just very, very, just very big on acknowledging people and all of that. So certainly something, just wash, rinse, repeat, wash, rinse, repeat. All of my visits to that particular, just wash, rinse, repeat. But I want to highlight a particular review. You've heard me talk for the last couple of episodes about knowing where you stand, knowing the value of reviews, knowing the value of what social media posts, what people are saying about your particular facility. And so folks, I want to highlight, in regard to that particular club, I want to highlight a Yelp review, and it certainly reinforces what you've heard me say here on these particular episodes. So it's a lengthy review, so I'm just going to pull out one line. And so Jeff W. from Dearborn, Michigan, wrote a Yelp review on January 11, 2018. So there's one line that I'm going to pull out, just in the interest of time. I gotta move forward. The place is clean, and I can honestly say that I've never been there when an employee has not been cleaning something. What have you heard me say before? Just wash, rinse, repeat. Wash, rinse, repeat. That is certainly part just of the fabric of that particular club. And so I also want to challenge you from a leadership development perspective. Recognize me. This is a newer club. This is something, Danny, the general manager, I've seen this on the PF screens. I've seen his picture and all of that. That's how I know what his name is. But that's certainly something when you have a new club, you can create that type of culture. Where you just got that discipline, cleanliness, that relentless and disciplined approach. But for those of you who maybe your club's been around 10 years or 20 years, whatever, and you hear this and you're like, man, you get inspired, or just your competitive zeal gets triggered. Certainly something I want to challenge you to do is take it slow. Don't roll into your facility on Monday and like, okay, people, we're going to make some changes around here. I want you people cleaning every 20 minutes. I want you cleaning whatever, okay? Because then people will be like, well, what happened? What's going on? Okay, you got to start. You got to start. It's much easier to start like that. You got a newer club. You can create this culture, and that's what it's going to be. Everyone's used to that. All right, versus, you've just been super laid back and whatever, and you've got reviews talking about how dirty your facility is, and all of a sudden, we're going to make some changes around here. I've been listening to this woman on Fridays and Fitness Fridays, and she's inspired me to make some changes. You will lose people. I mean, people are going to quit. They're going to resent the heck out of you, and so I'm just trying to prevent you from having any type of heartache. So take it slow. Take it slow. But just wanted to highlight certainly that point of consistency. Why am I always talking about cleaning? Whether I'm talking about even before I became a member of Planet Fitness, it's just something, it's a key weakness of the fitness industry in terms of facilities and facilities management. It's huge. And so, again, a best practice from Planet Fitness. For those of you who don't receive these direct mail pieces, depending on what part of the country you're in, what type of market they have in your particular area, but get them all the time here in Metro Detroit. But see, what do you see on this particular ad? Something that is always reinforced, whether you're talking about online ads, whatever the case may be, clean environment. Number one, clean environment. When you hear me talking about doing member surveys, what is the very first criteria they're asking you about on those online individual club member surveys? The cleanliness of the facility. I mean, this is huge. This is huge, but it's a weakness of the industry, but this is a strength of Planet Fitness. So that's why you always hear me harp on it. Hear me harp upon it. Like, my club does an excellent job. I haven't been to a Planet Fitness that hasn't been exceptionally clean. They just do a fantastic job with that. And so take note of that. Solicit feedback. Be very open. I'm going to quickly share a member survey that I completed. Actually, the second member survey. I did one earlier this year, but I completed a second member survey on June 5th, submitted it at 8 a.m. Just going to read it here quickly. Hello. I was so excited to see the new water rowers, recumbent stepper, and arm bike this morning. You have no idea the smiles those machines have put on members' faces, including my own. We appreciate the investment in the breadth of new cardio machines. Rest assured, they will get put to good use. In fact, I was on a rower and a lady who was a regular was on the assisted dip chin machine in front of me. She turned around and asked what I thought of the rower I was on. I told her it was great and I was used to them at prior gyms and to give it a try. She said she would. Later, I was on the recumbent stepper and another lady who was a regular was looking at one of the rowers. I told her to give it a try and she did. Finally, another lady I'd never seen before who said her name was Dawn told me how happy she was to use the recumbent stepper. In fact, she said, I saw it yesterday. I got up at 5 a.m. this morning for that thing. I like it better than the treadmill and elliptical. I speak on behalf of many by saying, thanks for all the PF Commerce Michigan team does to make this club consistently comfortable, clean, and simply outstanding. Keep up the great work. So I want to make some few points here. As I mentioned, this is just being very generous. I don't do this type of thing where I'm sharing what I'm thinking and what generated the thoughts that led to the feedback, because that's leadership development coaching. So anyway, I'm being generous. All right, so first thing, the investment. Yes, it's a huge financial investment when you are making upgrades to your facility, when you're getting new equipment, but it is worth it. It is worth it. I mean, just to see the smiles and people are so happy and they're getting good use. And certainly it is certainly something you may look at the financial cost and think, oh my God, this is going to cost me so much money, yada, yada, yada. But just recognize there will be a payoff in terms of new member acquisition as well as member retention, because you're thinking about, and I don't want to turn this into an episode on market segmentation, but when you think about, again, something like the water rower, for example. All right, and Planet Fitness did a great job. I mean, Life Fitness is their preferred vendor in terms of their equipment for cardio, but they've got some nice water rowers. I mean, they did a great job with those. The only somewhat similar water rowers I've seen have been at Orange Theory Fitness, and then their memberships are $100 to $150 a month. And you look at folks at white, classic members of Planet Fitness are paying $10 a month for those awesome water rowers. All right, but it's a huge investment, but it's worth it. And so what's going to happen is people, again, like myself, are going to look at those machines and say, oh yeah, I've seen these, this was at this club, and yeah, this was at this club, and yeah, all right. And so your more seasoned members are going to see that and be attracted to it, as well as the new members, new potential members, or you're giving a tour or something and they see that and they think like, wow, they're looking at the different breadth of machines that you have. Like, wow, this is cool. Depth is also an important factor, and you typically will see greater depth in your more expensive clubs. Your $100 a month, your Lifetime Fitness, your Equinox, which is $150 to $250 a month, because they've got the price points to be able to have 5, 6 different elliptical machines. That's your depth. All right, but breadth is a wonderful thing. People see that, and particularly during a tour, and they're like, wow, this gym has all different types of machines. It's just a wonderful thing, and I wanted to point that out. Also, just the feedback in terms of, people coming up to me and saying, and I'm usually not friendly at all and don't like to be interrupted, but I know that particular morning when people were approaching me and talking to me about these machines and things like that, I did not mind at all. I was so happy to see those machines. I just was whatever. I was just going with the flow that particular morning. But this last lady, when I mentioned Dawn, when she told me she got up at 5 a.m. to get on that machine, and I hadn't seen her before. And so this is something, again, you got a new member. I know she told me she's also a member of Fitness 19 in Farmington, Michigan, works with a trainer there, but also has a dual membership at Planet Fitness. Very, very common that people tag on Planet memberships to other locations that perhaps have your group fitness classes and things like that, personal trainers. Very, very common, but she's so excited. And trust me, you think about that particular machine that just made her just so happy. You think about member loyalty. That one machine is like, man, for her. All right, so that's just fantastic. So I just wanted to point that out. And the last point I want to make is, yes, I go to different facilities inside and outside of the Planet Fitness franchise. I've always been very good about giving feedback, giving kudos. Hey, this is great, and whatever this may be. You've seen me, you've heard me here on Fitness Fridays over the last few years. But it's certainly something I don't do is take my own facility for granted. And so I wanted to point this out. And this is true in fitness and in life. All right, don't take your own family, don't take your own fitness facility, whatever type it is, don't take them for granted. If they're doing a great job, if you're happy, if you're not thinking about going to another club, let them know that. Okay, if folks are really making things happen for you, let folks know that. Okay, don't just walk around and assume they know, because trust me, a lot of the feedback that happens just in life is negative. Okay, I know people aren't writing surveys and stuff like this, but that's just fundamentally who I am. I do this inside the fitness industry and outside. I'm just very, very much known for my feedback. So those are just some points I wanted to make. Not taking my club, they do a fantastic job. I'm a very, very happy and proud member of the PF Commerce Country Club here in Michigan, and wanted to quickly move on here and talk about a review that I gave All Patients Urgent Care on January 18, 2018, just to highlight this importance of knowing what folks are saying and how many potential folks are seeing the feedback. All right, so folks, just really quickly, I have sinus issues, I have a deviated septum, I have a large turbinates, so I have sinus problems, get sinus infections 2 to 4 times a year. This particular year was extremely bad. So you will see me in an urgent care real quick behind a sinus infection. So, but anyway, want to highlight this Google Plus review that I wrote. I have been to this urgent care 3 times in the last couple of years. I'm always impressed with their speed of service. There's nothing worse than sitting in a doctor's office for a long time when you were sick. I went in today, and Dr. Alavas and the receptionist, Dawn, were professional and quick as always. I am glad to have this excellent urgent care so close to home. I highly recommend it. For those of you who complete Google surveys, Google Plus surveys, you'll know. Okay, you'll get the email. Google will tell you what type of impact your review has had, how many people have seen it. So I wrote this review January 18, 2018, like I told you. Okay, so on Tuesday, May 29, 2018, at 3:01 p.m., I get a message from Google saying 519 people saw your review. So think about that. Okay, I just want to illustrate this point in terms of your facility. How many people are seeing your Google Plus reviews, your Yelp reviews? Just all of that, posting on Instagram. All of that is so important. So either what they're saying is either persuading them to move forward, yeah, this is the facility for me, or either dissuading them, oh, these reviews, there's just no way I'm going to this place, what a waste. Okay, and that's based on what folks are saying about your facility. So you got to be open, you got to be proactive when it comes to feedback. And also want to, just as I narrow here towards the end of this episode, I want to make a few more points here about feedback. Now, Planet Fitness, I talked about this last fall. Just want to highlight Planet Fitness. They do a lot of things right. And when you think about, again, that I mentioned this last fall, when you got last summer actually, when you've got a $10 base membership, all right, you've got to do a lot of things right in order to not have this massive churn of members every month, particularly at that price point. So they do a lot of things right, and one of them is probably most important of them is soliciting feedback. They are just relentless about seeking feedback. You can do member surveys on the individual club websites. You can call member services. You can email member services. You can contact member services through the main corporate website. You can talk to the manager at your club. You can post anything on social media, and you've got folks from corporate that are going to all these different individual Google Plus reviews for individual clubs and all the social media sites. I mean, they are just relentless for seeking feedback. And so actually you'll see in the clubs here, there's this card that says, feeling great, tell us about it, we're happy when you're happy. And I actually keep this in my office just as inspiration, just the importance of valuing feedback, soliciting feedback. All right, it's so important. Yeah, you're going to hear the good, but you're also going to hear the good, bad, and the ugly, and that's certainly something you want to know all the way around about what's happening in your facility and what changes you can make or what you're doing right. I mean, it's always a balancing act, and I want to, like I said, make it here through the home stretch of this particular episode by pointing out a review that actually was on the main Planet Fitness Facebook page. And so bear with me here. That's why I usually print stuff out. Bear with me. Here we go. So this was on April 23rd on the main Facebook page for Planet Fitness. All right. So the main post, April 23rd at 10:15 a.m. It's always sunny in the judgment-free zone. Okay. So several people posted on this particular post. But one of them that was posted, the first one I saw, and when I took a screenshot of it, Brian Sid had 3 emoji where kind of the laughing, if you type in your cell phone LOL or something, it gives you the laughing one with the tears. But essentially Brian Sid, SID, actually, and several people on this particular post posted this particular photo from a club. All right, and there's actually, it's a leg press machine, and the location of the club was not identified on any of the ones that I saw. I'm sure corporate has figured out exactly what club it was by now, I'm sure, and addressed it. And so there's a picture on the leg press machine, not a picture, there's a sign. And what it says is, we do not cater to bodybuilders or heavyweight lifters. Please help us keep our non-intimidating environment by loading on only four weight plates on each side. Thank you, PF staff. So there was a lot of controversy around that because people, I won't get into all of that, but people, it's just whatever. I don't have time to get into all of that, but there was a lot of negative reaction to that being posted. Like I said, the franchisee, from what I see, was not identified. No doubt corporate reached out to the folks who posted that to figure out where it was. But again, feedback. They want to know. Okay, they want to know exactly the good, bad, in that case, the ugly of what people, micromanaging how many plates people can put on a weight machine. That was not well received. But you've got to be open. You've got to be willing to hear the good, bad, and the ugly. You heard me mention on that series that I did on marketing towards the on the power of positive publicity, how the PF Michigan group here, they are one of the largest franchisees for Planet Fitness in the nation. Certainly they have the highest profile in terms of fitness facility leaders or owners in the state of Michigan. But one thing they do in their clubs is when you log on to Wi-Fi, it automatically will say, do you want to do a Google Plus review or Facebook review? So getting that, soliciting feedback, you got to have a lot of confidence to be able to do that. Again, they're very successful. They have a lot of clubs, anywhere between about 39 and 41 clubs now. Very, very successful. They have a lot of confidence to be able to do that. But you're also going to get feedback. You're going to get healthy, balanced feedback, as opposed to people that only post when they're happy or do feedback when they're happy, or only those, which is the majority of the post, when they're upset and mad and disgruntled. Okay, you're going to when you proactively do that, you're going to get a healthy balance of feedback. So folks, know when you get feedback, good, bad, the ugly, acknowledge it. If necessary, reach out to the person, because things can change. Many a negative review has been changed to a 5-star review or a positive review just based on the feedback in terms of how the club responded, how the facility responded. Okay, I think that's why people get so disgruntled a lot of times, is that there's no acknowledgement. Okay, and then you just see these clubs or these facilities with just this massive number of negative reviews piling up. All right, and I'm going to close this episode out by highlighting an Anytime Fitness location review. here in Warren, Michigan, one of our suburbs, but it highlights the importance of, again, being proactive and soliciting feedback. This person had a negative experience, but ultimately changed their review to a 5-star review. All right, so James Scott, so it just says 2 years ago, so I'm not sure what the exact date is, so sometime in 2016, James Scott had wrote the initial review. But then he changed it and said 2 years ago, all right, so 2016, update. Manager called after bad review and fixed my main complaint and is working on the rest. Gym is under new management. I signed up for a fitness trainer that I feel is dedicated and will push me towards my goal. I'm satisfied and think that the new manager actually cares about the members. So again, this person had a negative experience, wrote a negative review on Google+, changed the review. This kind of stuff happens every day. Okay, that's just customer service one-on-one. Acknowledge feedback, acknowledge complaints especially. You never know when that person will change that 1-star review, 2-star, or 3-star review into a 4 or 5-star review. It is truly, truly, truly possible. So folks, again, think about feedback. I'm done with feedback for this particular series. I've got to move forward, but it's such an important point. But next time I'm going to highlight the importance of developing a competitive mindset and also enhancing your competitive mindset. But also, at the end of the day, folks, during this series, I know you hear this, you hear about what this club is doing and this and that, and you, again, folks, just recognize, I know you're cruising along in your respective facilities. But so when you think about, I want to use this example here of salad dressing. So what do we know? You can tell the salad dressing's been sitting here for a minute. I did this strategically. But what are the directions always say on a salad dressing? Shake before using. All right. And so my role with this particular series also, which is Fitness Fridays in general, more actually on my regular Posi-TIPS during the week when I have those series. I do have an upcoming series on overcoming people pleasing. So stay tuned for that. But I want to shake you up. All right. Shake you up. Okay, and inspire you and challenge you towards greatness and recognizing that your facility has what it takes to get massive number of 5-star reviews and having massive number of people just saying what an awesome facility is possible. All right, but at the status quo, going along, allowing the oil to settle. All right, I just want to shake you up and challenge you towards greatness because folks, it's possible. Thanks so much for your time. Make it a wonderfully fit day.